2023 was the year of the NPCs. You might not have felt the urge to turn yourself into an AI-powered character just yet, but you probably came across something that looked like this and cringed. Concepts and slang straight out of gaming culture are everywhere these days, and chances are you use them to talk about your life even if you're not a gamer. Gaming culture went from niche to mainstream, from nerd to kind of cool, and so did slang. But how did we get here? And what are some commonly used expressions that were born within gaming culture? Since September 2022, Merriam-Webster has added over 1,000 new words to their English dictionary. The new entries came from a number of aspects of daily life, including video games. 6 gaming-related words were added in 2022 and 12 in 2023, which is a lot considering that in the 4 years before that, none of the new words came from gaming culture. One of the most prominent words added to the dictionary was actually NPC, short for non-player characters. These characters are not controlled by the player, but by the game's AI or by the game master in tabletop games like D&D. NPCs are basically there to interact with the main character and make the game world feel more real, sometimes with very minimal efforts from the developers. They normally just repeat the same 1 or 2 sentences and actions again and again, and they have no free will of their own.
Whatever.
TikTokers like Pinky Doll went viral because they were so good at mimicking the robotic and repetitive nature of NPCs. During their live streams, they perform a set of predefined actions, sounds, and sentences in real time, depending on what kind of virtual gifts they receive from the audience, and it's actually unbelievable how much money they make. Even before the TikTok trend truly took off, the word NPC has been used online to describe real people for a while. But besides the thirst traps, live streaming, and witty tweets, the word NPC has also been used in politics. In 2016, a post on the notorious 4chan titled, "Are You an NPC?" described those people who used the same buzzwords in hackneyed arguments and compared them to NPCs in a video game. This comparison really resonated with some far-right netizens, who started using the word NPC to describe their liberal political opponents and accused them of not thinking for themselves. But NPCs are just the most recent and the most dystopian example of this trend. Sometimes words are so commonplace we don't even know that they came from gaming, like this one.
Oh, that's sus!
Sustomer.
It might be a meme now, but the story behind this word is actually quite dark. In 2020, the pandemic forced millions of people indoors, and for many of us, our best way of coping was through video games. Some of us decided to zone out completely and play cozy video games like Animal Crossing, but many others decided to dive even deeper into the darkness of the times and played Among Us, a tense social game all about lies and deception. And politicians even entered the world of streaming to play it live. It was huge. So basically, when playing Among Us, you can choose to either be a crewmate or an imposter who's trying to murder the crew. People use sus, short for suspect or suspicious, to call out players who they thought were the imposter.
That's kind of sus, though.
From there, it entered into everyday mainstream language to mean literally anything suspicious. And honestly, anything sexual. And then we have rage quit, a very quintessential gaming emotion, and kind of self-explanatory, I think. The word is almost as old as gaming itself, as it originated in the 90s on message boards. But it recently started spreading outside of the gaming world and even became a way of quitting your job. This phenomenon doesn't just happen in the English language. In Mandarin, the word PK, short for player killer, which is also a gaming term, now just means battling or competition and is used everywhere. For example, the Chinese version of American Idol is basically called singing PK. Terms like NPC, rage quit, level up, and even beast mode have now entered the English language as legitimate dictionary words. But this is not just a matter of interest for language nerds. It actually has to do with the way we perceive video games as a whole. In the 80s and 90s, video games were considered a niche hobby, almost shameful. Gamers were stereotyped as nerds hiding in their basements, mouse clickers who shunned the outside world, and often personal hygiene, in favor of pixelated violence and fantasy worlds. Back then, gaming was a proper subculture, just not the coolest one. So, what changed? Well, technology just got a lot more accessible. Consoles got better and cheaper, and with the advent of the internet and smartphones, games just became available to basically everybody all around the world. In 2023, video games are played by over 3 billion people. and last year they created $200 billion worth of revenue. Because of their huge audience, video games are becoming prime selling ground for advertisers and are somehow influential in fashion too. Small and big fashion brands are attaching their names to in-game clothing items and creating collabs and capsule collections with some famous gaming IPs. Video games have also integrated into pop culture through media like movies and TV series, and it's not just gamers watching them. Just think of Netflix productions like The Witcher and Arcane, or HBO's The Last of Us, but also tons of movie adaptations coming out in recent years. And the social aspect of gaming grew as well. Discord, a platform designed purely for in-game communication, went from a small startup in 2012 to becoming one of the world's biggest social media apps. And now it hosts groups dedicated to everything from TV shows, tourism, dating, and even investing. And when it comes to the very latest developments, the pandemic just took the phenomenon even further. During the lockdowns, many people just had a lot more time on their hands. Even for those who did not grow up playing video games, gaming became the easiest way to fight off loneliness and boredom. Because of all these factors, video games are pretty much everywhere now. Once more people started playing video games, it was inevitable that the experiences they found through video games would enter in everyday conversations, social media trends, and even the dictionary. The words added to the Merriam-Webster dictionary in 2024 will, once again, be just a sample of what people are talking about. Will people still be talking about video games? Almost certainly. We'll just have to wait and see how. Gamers have come a long way from their basement-dwelling, Dorito-eating, sweatpant-wearing misfit days, haven't they?